know that we all have been in that stage while learning a new language where we're very excited for the first 5 days and then we get tired and then we don't even remember we started. Also, this way we are always at the same level and we are always asking the same questions. ¿Cuál es la diferencia entre por y para? Instead of doing this, what we can do is the following. Listen. This is an important criteria while learning Spanish on your own. Listen to as many things as you can. Listen to podcasts, watch movies, listen to audiobooks, you can watch YouTube videos. In this step, you don't need to pick each and every word and try to understand its meaning. You just need to listen in order to get familiar with the language. With time, you'll notice that the more you listen to an audio, the more you'll start to understand it better. Also at the end, you're gonna start replicating it. You can also listen to your favorite Spanish songs on repeat so that you get familiar with the words. And for example, when I started learning this language, in the beginning, I had one song which was my favorite. There was this song called Me Voy, and as I play guitar, I found the chords online for this song and I started playing this song again and again. Daily, on a daily basis, and what I noticed was at the end I memorized the whole song and I knew the whole meaning of the song. So I got familiar with the words, there was new vocabulary and everything. So songs are a very nice way to improve yourself in this language. The next thing that I would like to suggest you is to listen to podcasts. You can play the podcasts in the background while you're doing other work, like you're at home or you're in office, you're free, and you can just play the podcast and you can listen to daily conversations. And this way you won't realize, but you will notice it later that it is going into your subconscious and you'll get familiar with the sentence framing and the vocab, the verbs and everything. So in the long run, it is going to help you a lot. Read a lot. I cannot stress this point enough that reading is so important in learning a new language. You have to read a lot in order to increase your vocabulary, and it's also going to help you in sentence framing. Again, your level doesn't matter. Even if you're a beginner, you're an intermediate, or you're an advanced student, just start reading. For example, when I initially started learning this language, I used to borrow books from the library, the books that I've already read in the past in English. So this helped me understanding the language a little better because I already knew the story. This way, you can also borrow books from the library, or you can purchase it online, or you can just read online. Just start reading. It doesn't matter that you're understanding it or not. You just have to start reading. If you don't like reading that much, then you can pick some short stories that you can read over and over again, and this is going to help you a lot, trust me. Again, you don't need to stress on the fact that you have to understand each and everything while reading. Just be patient and just read. You don't need to understand everything at once. You don't need to underline every single word and open a dictionary to see, or open your mobile to see the meaning of every word. It is not necessary, guys. You just have to start reading, no matter if you're understanding it or not. Just enjoy the process and don't be too hard on yourself. Find a language partner. You have to find a language partner to practice your Spanish with. This is a very important point. You need to have somebody that you can practice your language with. If you don't have anyone around you to practice Spanish with, then what will happen is that you will be very good at listening, you will be very good at reading, writing, and in grammar, vocabulary, everything. But when it will come to speaking this language, you will be very hesitant and you will feel underconfident. I give an example. When I initially started learning this language, I didn't have anybody to practice it with because neither of my friends were learning this language and I live in India. So at that point of time, there were very few people who were learning this language. So I had this problem with me that I was very good at reading, writing, but when it came to speaking, I was always very underconfident. Later on, I started working in an embassy of one of the Latin American countries, and There I noticed that nobody understands any other language except for Spanish. I had a really hard time in the beginning because you're not able to communicate properly, because you are like, in my case, I used to understand each and every word they were saying. So I also used to have a little bit of difficulty in understanding also, because accents were very difficult. And but when it came to speaking, I was really very underconfident. In short, I had no other option but to communicate in Spanish. So this was very difficult for me initially, but later on I noticed that I was getting better at it because I had no other option. I understood the importance of having somebody in your life, having somebody around you to practice this language with. This is going to help you a lot. Even if you don't have anybody around you learning the same language, you can also try some applications online that will help you to find a partner to practice Spanish with. And some of the applications are HelloTalk and Conversation Exchange. Having somebody to practice this language with is going to help you a lot in the long run. Consistency. I cannot insist more on this. Consistency is the key, period. You have to be consistent if you are serious about learning Spanish. I know that in the beginning it seems too much, and most of the people, they leave it in between and they don't put efforts that they were putting in the beginning when they were excited about learning this language. If you're studying for several days and you suddenly stop studying, then it will be very difficult for you to get on track again. You need to be consistent in order to reach the level you want to. I promise that you will see improvement if you will be consistent throughout. And don't get demotivated if you make mistakes, which is my next point, making mistakes. The best way to learn is to make mistakes. Even if you're writing in your journal and you're making mistakes, it's absolutely fine. All you want to do is keep practicing. There are many people who excel at a language, but because they don't practice, they don't write, they don't speak because of shyness, they are not good at expressing themselves. Expressing yourself in the language that you're learning is very important, because again, the whole point of learning a language is communication. So this is all. I hope I helped you a little bit. See you in my next video. Thanks for watching and hasta luego.